Okay. Buitigunyong, Mabruiga hong Garinagu, Buitigunyong, Pablo Blanco Yague, Nueva York, Buitigunyong. Wogo Banye Ibidi Trevor, Wogumusoni Yan. Greetings, family. Greetings. Sorry for the late start, but I was at an event today and I'm just walking into the house. Kiyasi, Ngozi, greetings. Joseph, greetings. Angus, greetings, brother. Yetekato, Kafilobo, Lilian Paraso, Buitigunyong, Dana, hey cuz, how you doing? Buitigunyong. Ana Paola, Buitigunyong. So, a lot of things to discuss tonight. This Babakle thing, it's quite interesting. And I'm not sure why Brother Trevor is calling me, but he should be getting online soon. We're gonna have a talk with the president of the International Garifuna Council. As you know, we're still organizing ourselves as a community, and the International Council will be ideal for us. We have 78 Garifuna communities all along the Caribbean coast of Central America, from Nicaragua to Belize. So International Garifuna Council is needed. And as we deal with our plight in Central America, which is a lot of issues that, affect a lot of indigenous communities. But my concern is the way that we deal with these issues. It should be done through our culture. It should be done through our own idiosyncrasy as a community. Buitugunyo Home Madogunu, Jose Hernandez, Santimang, Buitugunyo, Salomon Feliz, Buitugunyo, Salmerons Feliz, Buitugunyo, Cheryl, greetings, greetings. Wagia Radio, Buitugunyo, J. King, Buitugunyo Home, Robert Charlotte, Buitugunyo, good evening. So there's a lot of things going on with us as a community. My concern is the way that we respond to these issues as a community. We have a lot of leaders in the Garifuna community, and we don't lack in leadership. What we lack is an impact. Abuses and crime in Nicaragua. I wasn't aware there was any abuses and crime in Nicaragua. Cheryl Hazel, can you let us know where in Nicaragua specifically? From my understanding, Garinagu are in the Bluefields or the Noco region. What about now? Cause can you hear me now? Can you guys let me know if you could hear me loud and clear? Just make a comment over there in the comment section if you could hear me loud and clear. I want to make sure that everybody's listening to me loud and clear. Just give me a like or just text the word that you're hearing me loud and clear. Because as you guys know, one of the reasons why what about now? Let me fix the microphone. Microphone may be a little bit off. But what about now? Can you guys hear me now? It may be something going on with my Oh, okay. All right. Okay, thank you, J King, Cheryl. I have to do another live with Grega, Grega Sambola over there in Bluefields, and she could give us an update of what's going on with the protest. Because out of all the locations where Garinagu are at or situated, Nicaragua is the most stablest one, and this is because they, in the Orinoco region, they aided the Sandinistas in power. So there's a little bit of protection for Garinagu in Nicaragua, but I am aware of the unrest in Nicaragua, and that's happening in Managua. I don't think it's affecting Orinoco and Bluefields, the Caribbean coast. That's more inside of the country, but we do have to get more information from. There's another brother down there, Renan Ramos and Grega Sambula. She should give us an update. I'm not sure they're watching tonight. But yeah, Sherry, we're here trying to, as you know, we were exiled from Uruming. You do know that. I know you guys are conscious about that. And in that exile, we arrived to Honduras. Some of us went to Belize. Some of us made way to Nicaragua. And there's a Garifuna community in um, Guatemala called Livingston. But all in all, we have about 60 plus Garifuna communities in the Caribbean coast of Honduras, and we have retained a lot of the culture. So I invite you and other brothers and sisters from Uruming to come to Honduras and see the culture. We have a big celebration in April in which we reenact our arrival, and we have a lot of activities showcasing the culture. Is this upcoming April? I'm actually building a website for that. For that event, because I want other persons to experience the culture. I have to waiting for brother Trevor to get on. Yes, got it. This Sherry, I gotta accentuate this. I gotta highlight this. In the Garifuna, there's about 46 Garifuna communities in Honduras. None of them are violent. None of them. Violence is something that, well, is a byproduct of the city. The biggest cities are very hyper violent. Tegucigalpa, San Pedro. Now the violence is getting to La Ceiba, which used to be a Garifuna community, but now is the third major city in Honduras. You don't have to worry about moving around in Honduras. I mean, if you go with me, I basically been in the country. I've been traveling since I was 9 over there, so I basically know the ins and outs of the country and what have you. But Garifuna communities in Honduras are not violent. The people are not violent. That doesn't exist in our culture. But the violence is via the Ladino community. They're the ones that are violent. But yeah, we're still trying to organize ourselves. Tonight's talk is gonna be about the release of our political prisoner, Omar Babakle Suazo. Omar was incarcerated because he was protecting the community of Sambo Creek. Sambo Creek is a Garifuna community close to La Ceiba, which has a river that was supposed to be used for a dam. From my understanding, that particular dam, or I think it's a hydroelectric plant that they want to build there, and brother Babakle was offered money to sell his community out so this dam could happen at a quicker pace. He refused, so they the persons that be, a lot of them from Sambo Creek, and the police, they fabricated an incident, and allegedly somebody was executed or murdered, and the blame was put on him. He was in jail for 2 years. He was released last Friday. So I'm going to do a live with him as well. Friday, we had a talk with Comunicador Garifuna, and he was telling us about the experience of Babakle, and I was listening to Babakle because he made a live as well the night that he was released, and he was saying that they wanted to assassinate him. There were hitmen sent to prison to assassinate him. And now Honduras, it seems like anything goes in Honduras. I mean, people die left and right. I mean, so what he's telling us is pretty, it's real. But nothing happened to the brother. He's safe. He's home with his wife, and I saw his wife there with him. I know he has children. I'm not sure if they're in Honduras right now, but his safe release is very important in the community, and it just really accentuates our plight in Honduras, that we're fighting over our lands, that we're criminalized. The judicial system criminalizes the Garifuna experience. So I'm curious to hear what Sister Joyce Cayetano organization is doing to safeguard our culture, Garifuna Dua, what it's doing to safeguard Ugulendo, which is our spiritual system. How does she propose to move us forward as a community for the next X amount of years? So all these questions, where she's gonna answer them. She's gonna answer them. Nosotros, I gotta speak in. You have to understand, we're a trilingual community. I happen to dominate English because I came to this country when I was 6 years old, and I learned English in school. I learned Garifuna with my grandmother, and my parents spoke Spanish. So it's like these 3 languages, 3 different minds of thought. Because with the language comes a particular attitude as well. I'm learning that after studying French. And I'm teaching myself French as it is right now too. But en español ahora, nosotros vamos a tener una conversación con Joyce Cayetano. Ella es la presidenta de International Garifuna Council. Es una nueva organización que se fundó aquí en los Estados Unidos, y ella nos va a dar más información sobre eso. Pero antes de esa conversación, yo y el hermano Trevor vamos a hablar de Babakle. Babakle fue impresionado porque él estaba protegiendo su comunidad. Le ofrecieron unos dólares a él. Le ofrecieron unos dólares a él y él lo negó. So, después que él lo negó, las autoridades, las personas involucradas en Sambo Creek lo querían asesinar. Él se defendió, algo pasó, pero él estaba criminalizado. Él fue a la cárcel por 2 años. Él acaba de salir hace 2 días, el viernes. Y nosotros vamos Omar Babakle. Mabruiga Trevor, buiti gunyo, juguete.
Buiti gunyo, Mabruiga, buiti nahin de gunyo lema.
De gete.
Mabruiga me ayaba ya wama. Binila sunti ka bafu. Ni habungi wama buiti agabu ni le lawe baba man. Labele watati musu gunya después le gime wayano atuma iviri Joyce Cayetano. So, ane musu video ya
Uh-huh.
de la chula ve Babakle.
Okay.
La bina hate wugile wanaragwa. Mama te yanku nule
Wanaragwa.
wanaragwale.
Okay, so let me add some context to this. For my research, Wanaragwa is our warrior dance.
Yes.
It's linked
Yes.
to the Egungun society or state in Nigeria. That's my latest research and some data that I got from a sister that she was in Ghana. There's a particular, I forget the name of it, I can't remember it now, but in Ghana they do the same thing, which they dress up with the mask. So we linked
Right.
it to two places in the continent, Wanaragua.
Okay. Yeah.
People
And
from
some people want to.
Montserrat, people from Montserrat and St. Kitts and Nevis, I believe, and
Right.
Bahamas, they call it John Canoe. So
Yeah.
this is the English speaking Caribbean that practice this tradition. We call it Wanaragua because the story goes, the oral story tells us that when we was at war with the British, we would dress up as women.
Right.
That's the way that we would dress up
It's
in
a
our
tactic.
dwellings. It's a
Right.
military tactic.
Right.
So after the British will come in and try to intimidate us, and we did our thing, and eventually fought them off, we would dance.
Right.
So this tradition, it's going back 200 years, and
Yeah.
there's a song that mentions Mansa Musa in one of the Wanagwa, one of the older Wanagwa songs. So Mansa
Okay.
Musa, he's the brother that sailed over to this side in the 1300s,
Okay.
which
Okay.
gives us
So
more information regarding us.
right. And you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Today we want to touch up on a couple of items, and your lighting went off a little bit there, Pablo.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm over here at my mom's house because I had to come here
okay,
real quick. I'm literally coming back from an event with my uncle, Pastor
okay,
Dario Ariola.
okay.
So this is the
And you're looking sharper than attack. You know what I mean?
I'm trying, man. I'm
Yeah,
trying. I like
yeah,
making good first impressions. He brought me to this gathering, and I want to make a
right,
good impression on the
right,
persons that I'm meeting. And I always like to be positive and dress the part and so forth.
right. So on to the Babakle case. Again, we want to thank everyone. My name is Trevor Palacio, Mabruiga, California. I have my big brother in New York, Pablo Blanco. Mabruiga Hong Sungo Bay. Uguye Wafante Amusu Dumeri Dogle. Furia Wugile. Abaladu Abairumu. Luwagu le Mama le la Digga Bay. Ke Langu Bay Santi Man. Leader with them le la bud bay. Dewe Yadibu. Logo le Mama Badika. So Abaladu Babakle. I hope to go half of the knee. Abati Lafudun.
There's some connection
Igual
issues.
que abala hime ugile afuru way aba limi oguni baba kle gadre wayas ani ti aba ani anya gige ye eyogwa agamba kala ibuguni baba la duru aba lidon again oguni le pero la diga memeti mabu so hamani baba kle ibawogo mabu so ti alun patronato la de Sambo Creek la diga edeni not only Omar Babakle aba hadodini log lemon la diga ba. Okay, so Babakle got locked up for something that he did not do, and he was in prison for a year. They were actually offering him a 30-year sentence.
I think it was two
For
years. I think he was in prison for 2 years.
yeah, 2 years, 2 years. It was two because it was in 2000 and it was
16.
16, late
Yeah.
2016, going on 2 years.
Right.
When it, and he came out yesterday. Why does it matter that we're going to have
Friday.
this
He came out
discussion?
on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. And why does it matter that we're going to have this discussion, Pablo?
Well, we gotta reanalyze like our experience in Honduras. I mean, I was telling the audience earlier that we're so criminalized in Honduras, and this is on the rails of our land issues. This whole Afrodescendiente narrative that doesn't really fit us as an indigenous community in Honduras.
Right, right,
But we have
right.
people in the community that have some type of political power that changed our name or made an effort to change our name from Afrodescendiente, from Garifuna to Afrodescendiente.
Yeah, Celio Alvarez. Celio Alvarez, UNESCO, I mean, not Odeco, Finon. Celio Alvarez, he was one of the people that, actually pushed that out there. And it has stuck, and it has become a thorn on our sides, per se. But one of the main reasons that we want to talk about Babakle is because, well, first and foremost, it was a very historic. Imagine this if you're listening and you're Garifuna. A lot of the people that have great history to share about what has gone on in their lives is history.
Mm-hmm.
Us as Garifuna people is going on live in living color. Internet, you know.
Right, so it's
We
more
need to,
interactive. It's more interactive.
exactly, exactly, and it's very interesting in that it's going on during this period of time that, as you and I have said, there is a Garifuna renaissance waking up. So they try to. So Omar Suazo was now his free. And we're actually going to have him do a live coming up next week. I spoke with
Right.
him today,
Okay.
and he's going to be ready to go live with us, and
Okay.
that'll be on most likely Tuesday. That he'll be ready to go live. He just needs to get a couple of things settled up, and
Right.
just kind of settle down.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I met the brother one time because I organized an event over here with Carla and Nofrane, and we had Miriam, we had him, we had the other sister, Mirta Colon. She spoke, but the father Danilo La Chapelle, Arelis Figueroa, these people from the Riverside Church, because they do a lot of social justice activities over at that church over here in Riverside in Harlem. So that's where I first met Babakle about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So,
Phenomenal.
for him to experience this, I haven't meet him, and then for him to experience this, I mean, that's like watching, if you look at all the political figures like Mabruiga Jubar and,
Right.
all these
Nelson
African people
Mandela.
that were
Nelson
imprisonated,
Mandela. Yeah.
exactly, Nelson Mandela, that were imprisonated for
Yeah.
standing up to this system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just happened to be from our community.
Yeah, but there's a reason that it's happening in our community because look, lo que pasó con Babakle era importante para toda la gente indígena. What happened with Babakle was very important to all indigenous people. It
Right.
had a permanent impact because a lot of indigenous people, Berta Cáceres, God forbid, they took her life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Rest in
And
peace to
that's the
her.
worst. And that's usually the worst case scenario that they could do.
Right.
Followed up by imprisoning you. So Omar Babakle would tell you that there are hundreds of political prisoners who are behind bars right now for actually fighting for land rights. And that's your rights as a Garifuna, even though you may ignore that right now, it's actually your rights that these individuals are sacrificing for.
Well, Babakle had a lot of people that were promoting him that really were supporting him. He had a lot of support, a lot of international support, because
Yeah.
the man was innocent. He's innocent. He didn't do anything. And there's a lot of people that we now know that are in solidarity with us.
Right. No, because they know. You know, they know, and that's why the judge, during his case, there were military men with all kinds of guns,
Right.
and the judge said, what's going on? Why do you have all of these military men like this?" And the prosecutor said, "It's because of the gravity of the case. You know, the guy, he has an influence on the community." That's when they were trying to put the gag order on him. You know what I'm saying? To not even speak with the community. And the judge, and I just want to say right now, whatever happened in the country of Honduras, I know it's a lot of turmoil, but they did something right.
Okay? And that's rare. And that's rare. For Honduras,
very rare.
That's very rare, especially when it comes to Garifuna people.
Yeah.
When it comes to Garifuna people, the country of Honduras, they have it out for us, man. They don't want us there. They say that, you know, they show that loud and clear.
Right.
I shared the conversation, well, the court cases, Punta Piedra and Triunfo. The prosecutors, the type of questions they were asking, they kept on referring to this term afrodescendiente.
Yeah.
Afrodescendientes do not own land, Trevor.
They don't.
Afrodescendants cannot own land, and that's the argument of the country, that ustedes son afrodescendientes.
Y tú tienes que traducir eso. Es la razón que nosotros, Pablo acaba de decir, si eres afrodescendiente o si tu nombre es latino, ese nombre no viene con tierra comunal como el nombre Garifuna. So, si te llamas afrodescendiente o algo diferente que Garifuna, lo que tú quieres hacer es perder lo que es tuyo, que nuestros ancestros dejaron para nosotros, que es nuestra tierra. You know what I mean?
Dale ni togo bigibu caso le Punta Piedra lumo trompo ya ti da corte interamericana le hengu be la luduna ya huliligati luogo hugia Garinagu afrodescendiente hugia.
Yeah.
Uti seti hengu wagu ke muga garino afrodescendiente wama la daga mafiti lo wanyenye mafiti lo wani walagate gibeti kate mafiti ti irile afrodescendiente seti how hongainu afrodescendiente. And it just so happens a lot of educated Garifuna people embrace this term, Trevor. They embrace this term because they want to be part of this Latin American Afro Negro Renaissance, like countries like Panama, Chile, Ecuador, that have small African populations, and they don't know their culture, because I've been to Panama. They're trying to connect to their culture.
Now the thing with that is, not only are they trying to connect with their culture, but you and I have to be conscious and aware of the fact that this is politics and this is trickery that is being utilized, right?
Of course.
And as we distance ourselves from our name, we distance ourselves from our land.
But see, this is the problem. This is the problem when Garinagu they go to study in Tegucigalpa, San Pedro, because you're going to be around a whole bunch of Latino people that say, oh, negro, tú eres pendejo. They give you all type of, like, you know, psychological abuse about yourself. And that's ingrained. A lot of Garinagu people, they accept that. They don't fight back. You know what I'm saying? We gotta show them how to fight that back, because we're more familiar with white supremacy from America. We already seen how it affected the black community over here.
Right.
So we got to take that knowledge back to Honduras.
And part of the trickery is funding.
What up, Chopin?
Funding comes with the name Afro. So if I were pursuing some funds, si yo estaba tratando de agarrar un préstamo de una organización sin lucro ahorita, abajo del nombre Garifuna, sería más posible que para recibir fondos si yo digo que soy afro latino or afrodescendiente que Garifuna. And so part of what they're doing, Pablo, is the name Afro comes with funding. It's attached to funding. So if I were to go out here and seek a loan for Garifuna Ethnic Group Action Committee for the Preservation of the Garifuna and say, we're Garifuna, the likelihood of getting a loan would be higher for a group that says Afro than it would be for Garifuna because that's the way it's set up.
Remember, it has the term Afro is a greater population than Garifuna. Remember, only a million. I don't know what our numbers are in Honduras. There isn't a actual number for Garinagu people, but we're not counted as an individual community. We're counted more. I guess it's easier for their census to put us into the Afrodescendente because there's more numbers in Afrodescendente than Garifuna. So it's a numbers thing as well. And we're talking about countries. We're not talking about, a particular community. But the point is that they monetize that name.
They do.
They have monetized that name. Modeco monetized it, and always history after that. I mean, they had symposium, conferences, and
Francisco Avila monetizes it, by calling us the Afro-Latino, whatever the name of his endeavor is. And, I'm not calling him out. I'm only speaking the truth. The truth is the truth. And he's one of those.
I could say let me be fair, Trevor. To be honest, I could see why Francisco Avila used that name because there's a lot of Latino people here in New York that identify with Afro-Latino. They identify with that.
Yeah.
And this is New York. There's a lot of Latino people here that follow that whole narrative. So I could see why he's using it here. Right. But in Honduras, it's dangerous for us. It's very dangerous.
I think it's dangerous for us anywhere because if we put our foot down right now and say no one calls me anything but Garifuna, then that's it. I don't care where you at on the moon, New Jersey, Los Angeles, Wax, wherever you at, Garifuna Nubian. I know my identity. No one should call us anything different than that anywhere, man. And we shouldn't permit it. It starts with us. You know what I'm saying? Remember, it started with a Garifuna person. It started with Celia Alvarez. Reduce that, we possibly wouldn't be having that conversation today. So it can also end with you and I if we just don't promote it, man. I don't accept it. Garifuna Nugia don't call me anything but Garifuna.
Well, here's the thing, Trevor. Here's the thing. I mean, Dr. Henry Clark always said when you talk about ethnicity and roots and race and all these subjects, like how do you classify a group? How do you classify a group? Is either land, language, or culture. Afrodescendiente does not, it doesn't relate to land, language, or culture. Garifuna relates to language and culture, but not land. We had our land in Yurume, but we lost that. So we have two of the three.
Dr. Joyce. How are you? I just brought Joyce Cayetano and Sister Joyce. How are you? I am good. Are you in a good spot to get started with us today? We apologize for the technical difficulty there.
All right.
You could raise her volume, Trevor. She's kind of low.
No, I'm going to bring her in a little bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Ibidi Joyce, how are you today? Pablo Blanco is in New York, and here I am in San Francisco. How about you today?
How about you today?
Who the geti Ibidi Joyce? Who geti?
Who the geti?
Seremi Hachilu, when you look at Lohayano Hawama Musum, Wayano Fume go le Wayano Logo Babakle, Omar Suazo, Le Ebugni Le, Asu said Dubai Luma, que habla la lafi do wino again. So yesterday, so a little bit we're talking about Omar Babakle. Right now, everyone we have Joyce Cayetano, who is the president of the International Garifuna Council that we are establishing. This is part 2 of a series that we started last week with the president of the Garifuna Nation, Ruben Reyes. And once again, welcome everyone to Mabruiga, Garinagu. And today we have Joyce Cayetano, who will speak about Garifuna unity, what that means, how we're going to make it happen, how the International Garifuna Council is working on that. But again, we just want to talk a little bit about, Pablo and I have talked about Babakle and Sister Joyce. We just want to hear your thoughts. I know that you are from Belize, and what happened was with
Really disappointed in the sense that what happened, but I thank God. It's a growing and a learning experience because we've been struggling from Urume all the way to Central America, and we're still struggling.
See, that's a very important point, Sister Joyce, because we never got a chance to really develop ourselves as a community in a hostile environment such as Honduras. I know Belize was formed afterwards, and Nicaragua. The only safe haven for Garinagu people right now, 2018, is Nicaragua. All the other places, we are at war. Honduras, Guatemala, Belize.
And it's time for. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, what I was trying to make the point of it is that we are at war in Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize in regards to our land. It's everything revolving our land. That's the issue is our land.
And basically, that's a very essential issue because without the land, we have no home. Without a home, we have no foundation.
Right.
And that's what we know. That's what we do because not only land for our stability, but land for farming, land for that's how we live.
Right.
And now, initially they put us to the worst part of the coast wherever we landed as Garinagu. And now that everybody appreciates the beauty, it's all cleaned up.
Right.
So now they want, they just want to bully their way through.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. I thank God for the warriors that stood and persevere. Relentlessly. I know it was hard at times, but the people stood fast.
Right.
And, it's a learning experience, though.
Yeah.
Because as you said, IGC is about unity. We'll talk about unity. During this past few weeks, I was taken back in many areas because I was analyzing exactly where we are as Garinagu. We all acknowledge that we're all Garinagu. Hurdle, I think, will challenge because we still want to keep that border in spite of what we need to deal with as an individual thing.
Right.
Because I could unity, you could.
Transmission issues.
We get them aboard. And if they are, how committed are they?
Right.
Because this is not a Belizean thing. This is not a Honduran thing. This is not a Nicaragua thing. This is not, a Labuga thing.
Right.
This is Garinagu coming together. So Belize is the only country that does not speak fluent Spanish. And you know, even that we have to learn to mediate when we're communicating things. And for me, speaking for me, you know, when I see Spanish rolling down, I said, okay, I'm not included in this one.
Right.
You know, so we truly have to be sensitive to each and every need as Garinagu, because your perspective might be different than mine, but nonetheless, the end result could be the same. You know, but it shouldn't take us the 360-degree turnaround to get to the point that we need to get to.
Right. I mean, because the need is definitely there for the Garifuna body to have a leadership or a body of individuals whose sole focus is actually the economic improvement, the betterment, the growth of the Garifuna people as a whole.
Right.
That has to happen. It seems as if, as we were talking about Babakle earlier, Honduras is going through a lot of governmental turmoil. You know, it is rated as the most dangerous place on earth right now.
It's very corrupt.
Because of the corruption and the way people are killed. But nevertheless, I would dare to say, even in the eye of the storm, yesterday Babakle was freed in such a corrupt land. Right. So that says a whole lot about about possibilities. Right.
And the perseverance of the community and the leaders that stood. And the encouragement and the support, you know, because it's not only, you know, the people in Honduras, the support that, you know, the encouragement, because sometimes as leaders, we all get tired and weary. But one encouraging word from somebody that's at least trying to walk the walk or to do something will lift that person up to no avail.
Right.
You know, so I think this is a learning for all of us, because this is not written in any book.
Right.
You know, we're living this as it happened, and I was so grateful to see how healthy he appeared to be.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, one of the second video that was released, I think it was you know. They injected.
Yeah, that's when he ended up with tuberculosis. Yeah.
You know, because it was obvious, because he was a healthy man, and whatever they did to him, you know, was done to have an effect.
Yeah, they tried to kill him multiple times. They even tried to stab him again in the hospital, and like he said, they poisoned his food. It was on a couple of times where his food was poisoned. So several attempts continued to happen after he was incarcerated. Now,
but God.
Only but God. And what's funny is when he came out, Pablo Blanco, Sister Joyce, the first thing that he said when he got on camera was, "I want everyone to know that there is a God."
Bless God.
He said, we want everyone to know that God and our ancestors are with us, and we're nothing without them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's always a good thing to hear that from someone that is just coming out of the fire, Pablo. You know what I mean?
Well, we never experienced a political prisoner of this magnitude before.
Never.
As a community. Never. This is the first time.
Right.
This is the first time, so it's very, you know, it's very interesting to watch. I mean, I'm just, you know, here. I did a program with the man. He sang, he spoke with us. I had no idea he was the president of the Patronato in Sambo Creek. I had no idea. I artist.
What
and then
came
for him to go through this.
to my mind when I watched the video yesterday, because when they freed him, I was at a funeral and I wasn't engaged Facebook.
Right.
So when I saw it, the part that I saw when he was dancing.
Guanarabo.
Mhm. And I said, wow, just look at God.
Yeah.
I said, but what I had to compare that with was Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, even though we say that Nelson Mandela affected us and what he went through affected us, we thought it affected us. But when we saw Babakle walking out that prison,
yeah,
that was home. That was a home base, home run.
That.
So that effect was totally different than Nelson Mandela's effect.
Right.
The Garinagu people, if you're paying attention.
Right. If they're paying attention, thank you for saying that. If they're paying attention, because Pablo, there are a lot of magnificent things going on in the life of Garifuna people if we were to just pay attention.
Yes, there is. There is. I mean, we have a professional class of Garifuna people that studied in Cuba, and they're going back to their communities and building hospitals. We have Dr. Castillo. We have his cousin, Ronnie, that has a doctorate, and he's working on another doctorate in education. I mean, we have a lot of professional people that hopefully we could use one day to develop an autonomous nation in Honduras, because that's the infrastructure or the structure, the political structure that we need to follow, because we cannot be a part of these Central American countries' governments. It just doesn't work for us. It hasn't worked for the last 221 years, and it's not going to work moving forward. They're not going to allow us to go in under our idiosyncrasy as a community into their government. It's just not going to happen. So that leaves us in a constant state of poverty, having to migrate and come to America and so forth. So that's why I'm curious to hear from.
About that is you mentioned a few intellects from Honduras. Every part of the diaspora have a handful of intellects and coming along even more.
Right.
Just imagine if everybody put their mind together positively rather than just keep cutting down the progress or just looking at the things that Garinagu should have been doing and not doing.
Right.
These are the areas that we need to build, because we know we need, entrepreneurs. We need to build for ourselves.
Right.
We need to develop for ourselves.
Right.
So if all the Garinagu work together in spite of where they came from, just imagine what we can develop.
Right.
Well, Trevor, I don't mean to cut you off. But I have to make this point that the economic development component is needed, because we live in a capitalistic system and we have to fund our experience. Right. So the economic development component is crucial. I believe that and the spirituality go right neck and neck, because if we don't have the spirituality that sustains ourselves and the culture, the economic development component is not going to work. So it's both or neither. Right. And what happened is that in these countries, Trevor and Ibidi, Joyce, we have taken on the nationalistic mind frame that we're Belizean, we're Honduran, we're Guatemalan, we're Nicaragua. No, your Garifuna, your culture was there first. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Your Garifuna first, and then your country.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around.
Let's take this opportunity to segue into the IGC. And IGC is short for the International Garifuna Council. Sister Joyce, you were just talking about the different talents that we have everywhere. Brother Pablo, you're talking about all of the potential opportunities that we have because of those talents, right? So the IGC, President Joyce, if you could give us a breakdown of what the intent is, because I know that nothing has been created, nothing is final and good to go, because we are adamant that everything that we do, that the people are involved in it. But if you could give us a breakdown of what the IGC is.
Well, what's the mission? What's the mission of the IGC?
To unifying Garinagu people. That's the mission.
Okay.
Okay. And how do we do this?
Go ahead.
And how do we do this?
The intent is, at this point, everything is, the officers are interim officers. But the plan is, as I indicated, the mission is to unify Garinagu people. Mm-hmm. We all know that there's Garinagu groups all over the world, all over America. So as we establish IGC here in California, mm-hmm. the plan is, and with a lot of prayer and hope, that we'll find representatives from each part of the diaspora right. here in California right. that will be able to build a group and work with the community, and whatever money will be raised, to raise funds, especially to assist the mother group in our part of wherever part of the diaspora we're from. Whatever the project of choice for a duration of time, right? That's what we hope to focus on. So excuse me, for us here, the Legion community, our first choice was to help complete the Pablo Lambe Garifuna Cultural Center. Okay. And the reason for that is Pablo Lambe is my dad. He was a cultural activist. He was an all-around man. Right. And, when the building was dedicated in his honor, because of the work that he did to acquire back the property back into the Garifuna community name. So with that, we decided that would be the project that gets done, because the initial plan for the building was supposed to be a 3-story building. My dad died April 2000, and that first floor was built since then, and nothing has been improved. As a matter of fact, it's been deteriorating. Okay. So one of the things my dad used to say, that he wanted that to be a template, because if the Garinagu realize that they can have a home in Mabruiga, every diaspora should have a home that the Garinagu could at least lay their head when needs to be. Okay. So the basic idea that I'm hearing you say is each part of the country will establish members of the International Council, and each one of those countries should have a community center like the Pablo Lambe building in Belize, where we could set up the youth with technology, where we could have GED classes, if that's what you would call them in Belize, or whatever it may be. But it's going to take a central group of people in each part of the country to be able to make that International Garifuna Council membership work, correct? Correct. And one correction too, because like I said, each part of the diaspora would find their assignment. Right. But, we'll be working together, because whenever, let's say, the IGC Belize would have a fundraiser, the IGC Mabruiga would come and assist, and vice versa. Right. So working together would be a key. Okay. Breaking barriers.
Okay. So working together to basically as the conversation went with Ruben Reyes last week about Garifuna Unity, if we were to mobilize all of the talents that we had, then we could alleviate all of the problems, if not most of the problems that we currently have, because it's not as if we don't have resources to make it happen, but there first has to be, which is what we entitled this two-part segment, um, reestablishing Garifuna Nation starts with Garifuna Unity. So if there is no Garifuna Unity, but Brother Pablo, if you could speak a little bit about the challenge that we're dealing with, and you know, in correlation with what Sister Joyce is intending to do, which is a very big task.
Well, it's very big. I mean, in several fronts. Because for one, it has to be funded. You have to research those people that have that consciousness of being Garifuna and
Right.
using their profession to help Garifuna Dual.
Right.
I mean, it's a tall order. It's a tall order for us because there are Garifuna persons, and we gotta be realistic that do not want nothing to do with Garifuna at all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Ebony Joyce, we have to be realistic at this point. They're professionals. They're very comfortable in what they're doing. They're Garifuna, and they don't want nothing to do with Garifuna whatsoever.
Right.
Which is true, and I accept that fact. But at the same token, like I always tell Trevor, in order for us to move forward, we have to go back and meet with the people that's been holding on to to the legacy,
Right.
whether we like what has been established or not. But we need to go back before we can move forward.
Agreed.
Because let's all face it, Garifuna has been a nation. The biggest task that we have before us is to unify
Right.
and come together as one.
Right.
But if you go to Honduras, there's a community. Our language is still spoken. Our attire is still there. That's what consists of a community, right? So that's what makes us indigenous. So, we need to reach out to the leaders that's been holding before us and let them hear us out and we hear them out, mutual respect, and we'll come face to face with hardball. Nonetheless, we have to do it.
Right. Right. And that's the importance of things like the symposium coming up in Chicago. Let me plug that in. We get Sandra Miranda from Belize, National Garifuna Council is going to be there. We have Ingrid Gamboa, Iseri Ibagadi from Guatemala is going to be there. Pablo Blanco from New York is going to be there. Joyce Cayetano from Los Angeles and her husband, Frank Cayetano, should be there. We have people like Agustin Guerrero, Ivan Santos, Victor Medina, Shirley Gibbons, Anna Castillo out of Houston that will be there. We have Miriam Miranda from Orphanet that we're talking to right now that will be there. And we spoke with Babakle this morning, new and freshly released from prison. He's going to be there. Okay. This gives us the opportunity to actually talk face to face. Sister Joyce, you and I often talk about the very importance of that face to face because there's a lot of miscommunication that happens over telephone conversations, text messages, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. And to me that's very important because in communication you have 110 things going through your mind that you need to accomplish in a period of time.
Right.
And you're holding conversation, and things happen. That's life. It happens.
Right.
But if we take our time to reach out to the people, and I'm glad all these people plan to be there, and that's another thing because coming on to something like this would be a great way for all the Garinagu right now that the people that know that we're in extent trying to bring these leaders
right.
this symposium What's wrong with Garinagu donating a $50, here? Come on, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money should not be the problem, so it's to slow down any progress.
Right.
Because if I can give $2 and you can give $20, let's do it.
Right. Right.
And here we are, and I can guarantee you, there's a handful waiting to see everything collapse. But you know what? Where there is determination and perseverance, yes, we will kick the wall every so often, but the work will be done.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And in regards,
everybody in a Garifuna group, if they fit in together, money should not be a problem.
Right. It's enough of us. It's enough of us to make something monumental happen with the efforts of actually very few, and everything that we have done. Symposium number 1 was with the efforts of very few, and this symposium this year again is with the efforts of very few. But someone has to start. Everything has to start somewhere, and those who start have to be consistent. And that's one thing that I can proudly say about what we're doing, Pablo, with Mabruiga, and what we're doing, Sister Joyce, with Garifuna 2020 Consortium and everyone on our team. We're being consistent. We're not stopping, even though life is happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. But this is very important to do. Pablo, is there anything that you want to inquire further about the IGC as we bring this conversation to a close with President Joyce Cayetano today?
Well, I'm curious, just like other people, how could they get in touch with IGC? How could they learn about it? Is there a website?
We're in the process of getting our website going, but my number is always available. My cell number is 951-255-1172.
And I'll post it. I will also post it. And, it's important that whoever calls President Joyce, because I'm the assistant secretary of the IGC. Juan Garcia is the secretary. Joseph Miranda is the vice president. And the treasurer is Georgette Lambert. It's important that whoever calls, you have to understand that this is a commitment. Okay? You have to understand that we're not going to overwhelm you, but nevertheless, it is still a commitment that requires follow through if we sincerely care about building a stronger and more secure tomorrow for our Garifuna youth. And we have too much potential to do that, Pablo.
That is true. That is true. I mean, the more I think about, how underdeveloped Honduras is. I mean, when I was there 3 years ago, and I was talking to my uncle Dario on the ride over here, and I was telling him I was amazed that there was an American ship. It was a hospital, one of those hospitals that they sent to like disaster areas, like they sent one to Haiti when they had the earthquake. When I was there in 2015, it was on Trujillo Bay, close to Castilla, and they were, offering free medical checkups. They were operating on people there, and you should have seen the amount of people that needed help,
Right.
medical health,
Right.
because they can't afford
Right.
the $500 to $1,000 to be admitted
Yeah.
into a medical facility in Honduras, because you have to pay,
Right.
in order to get care. So the American ship was offering that free of charge, and that just set up a lightning bolt in me.
Enough of that.
I mean, why is that still the case in Honduras?
Right.
And other indigenous communities?
Right.
How can we change that, being from here? I mean, if you're, again, I got to reemphasize that we're not above the community. People respect you as a person depending on where your community is at.
Right.
And it begets the question, where's the Garifuna community at? I mean, where are our institutions?
None.
Where are our hospitals?
Who said?
Where are our cultural centers?
Who said? Right. Right.
Makes you
And you
wonder.
know one thing I was discussing with a sister named come on, Trevor. Arnett no, Erica Antoinette out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. Shouts out to that sister. I spoke
Yeah,
with her a couple
okay.
of times as
All
well.
right. So, Sister Joyce, you know, as you know, economic development is it's on the list of the most important things we're focused on right now.
Right.
So, we're talking about economic development at different levels. And Pablo, we had a conversation 4 weeks ago about the professions our youth should go into. And the young woman said, Trevor, we need to figure out a niche that Garifuna men and women are just good at. And be it truck driving, a seaman, a mechanic, some type of vocation program to make sure that once our people get here, they eat. They can provide for themselves.
Trevor, we already have that. Merchant Marines.
We already do that.
We already do. We already have our niches because remember we come here with little to no education. So home
but we're not
attendant.
building off of it. We're not building off of it.
We're doing we're building at the level that we can because some of these professions, supers and home attendants, they don't make that much money. So we do as we can. We send remittances.
Right.
We do what we can.
But I'm not arguing with that. It's time to strategize what to do with it so we can maximize from the benefits of our sweat, tears, and toils. And it's going to take people joining the International Garifuna Council. It's going to take people working with the Garifuna Nation. It's going to take people working with Garivision, Mabruiga, Garinagu. It's going to take Garifuna people taking the initiative to actually support their own.
Professionals, with brother Nixon Arauz. Nixon Arauz is a graduate from Cornell University and Columbia. He got a bachelor's and a master's from these white supremacist schools, and he said that we need to create a pipeline for the youth.
Yes, we do. And that's what we need to do as Garifuna.
That's very crucial because we don't have any continuity in the community. The Gapensiliti people want to keep all this data and information to themselves, and that's the struggle that we have now, and that's the situation. Is because of that mentality that we're in the situation that we are in right now. The continuity.
Right. Sister Joyce, let's go ahead and close this out in regards to the conversation of Garifuna Unity. We'll give you the final thoughts on that, and Pablo Blanco could close us out for the evening. We really do want to thank you for coming out tonight to spend some of your invaluable time with us. And we also want to thank you for sacrificing your time because no one is paying you to volunteer to be the interim president of the International Garifuna Council. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. As we're conversing, one of the things that crossed my mind as you're talking about the youth, we know what we want, but what does it look like? How do we achieve those things? And are we willing to sacrifice enough to make a start, to make it happen? Everything for Garinagu has always been a struggle, and we're still struggling.
Right.
I'm crying out to my people to pay attention to other indigenous groups. Quit judging the people that are trying. Quit ridiculing each other. But let's come together as one people, one voice. That's where our strength lies.
Right.
The people in Honduras suffers differently from the people, the Garinagu and Belize, as well as every part of the diaspora.
Right.
Is suffering, but in different levels, different contexts. It's time for us to love each other because nobody else loves us as people.
Woo.
So I'm crying out to my people tonight. Stop being so selfish and learn to become selfless. Because in their selflessness, you see other people's needs, you see other people's pain, and you see where we can take the culture collectively. Again, I'll reiterate, we are already a nation, but we need to unify.
Right.
So let's start one at a time. Let's do it. We can do it.
Yes. We can.
Laula Negro, I need to hear your mama.
Mabruiga, Joyce. Seremi logo hidano again.
What Megay? Mabruiga, Pablo.
Sereme ibiri Joyce. The Weyuba Wongwa ya Chicago. Lida me unsuhati.
Okay, Sereme,
Mabruiga.
You know, speaking with Sister Joyce, and there is, she's semi-retired.
Right.
There is a large group of retired or semi-retired Garifuna people who are actually tired. You know, they've been working. You know, they've been putting in the hours. So, you know, in the United States of America, you got a pound of pavement, you make it. You know what I'm saying? And I understand. I'm a 41 United States where I have to pound the payment and make it happen. Starting with the teachers, those who are retired teachers, you know, if you could just take a little bit of time to go back to Nicaragua, pick a part of the Garifuna diaspora. It doesn't matter where it is, preferably not where you're from. Pablo, let's start encouraging people that, man. You know, if you're from Honduras, in another part of the world. The last thing I want to say, Pablo, is
Could you repeat what you just said? The last 30 seconds. Could you repeat what you said because it froze up the connection. There's a transmission problem. The last 30 seconds of your statement.
It froze up on you, but it didn't freeze up though.
Oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah, it didn't freeze up. It is imperative that we take these opportunities, and going back to brother Omar Suazo, who is now free. I beg, and I am screaming, and I am on bended knees to anyone that has a drop of Garifuna in your blood to understand that who you are is an important element in regards to humanity. Serious business. We are, I was speaking with, who was I talking with? I believe Ruben Reyes. I was speaking with Ruben Reyes, and I'm going to shut up, Pablo.
Now we got time.
And he said, Trevor, you have to understand that Garifuna people are still natural thinkers. I said, what do you mean by we're natural thinkers? He said, Garifuna people are still innocent. We still want to preserve the trees. You know what I mean? We still want to do some agricultural things. We still want to go fishing. And society has drifted from that, and it's called civilization, right? No, Germán Cayetano. That's who I was talking with, not Ruben. Right. Pastor Germán Cayetano.
Right.
And he said, Trevor, you have to understand that the Garifuna people are natural thinkers. So this goes out to you and I, Pablo.
Going on with the audio.
Speaking of them, yeah, what's that?
There was something going on with the audio, and it was trying to reconnect. But you're good now. You go
Yeah,
continue.
yeah. But my point is, Garifuna people are natural thinkers. So the task before you and I is to educate our people the best way we know how, which is not only Garifuna could do it, only you could do that. As a scholar, only Hector Zapata could educate us. Only Ruben Reyes could educate us. You know what I'm saying? Only Dr. Palacio from Belize could educate us, not anyone else, because of the particulars of who we are. But if we're going to maximize on that, we got to come together, regardless of where you are, and understand that we are one element. Garifuna people are one element, and we operate. I don't know how else to best describe it, Pablo. Our oneness and how connected we are, and how interdependent we are as a people.
Mhm.
Cayetano of the International Garifuna Council, and she can be contacted at 951-255-1172, and or IG. Pablo may still be there when I'm done with this segment. We don't want to prolong it. We don't to keep you informed as to what's going on with that. He's going to be doing a live with us on Tuesday. Omar va a hacer un live con nosotros martes. Ahorita él está con su familia relajando, pero va a llegar el tiempo que él puede hablar con nosotros. Mabruiga, Pablo, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. There was a transmission issue.
Okay. Seems to still be a little transmission issue there. So I'll go ahead and let you close it out, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight.
All right, cool. I can't see my image, but can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we have to we have to unify. The only way that we can fight this battle, which is basically white supremacy and the structures and trying to destroy us as a community, is by unification. We see how other communities deal with it, like the Senegalese over here. I mean, the Jewish people. I mean, we have examples of how to fight this thing. We just
Yeah, no, it's
have to employ Ugulendo, I believe, the spirituality component. We got to employ that, and we got to hold these series of workshops in which we're relearning who we are as a community. I mean, we've seen the struggle. We've seen the
and I
struggle
don't
with
see you,
Babakle.
Pablo.
Say that again.
I don't see you.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not getting an image either. So I'm trying to hurry this up. But we seen the last point I'm gonna make is that we seen what happened to Babakle, and Babakle was
Right,
released. You know, that's God. That's our ancestors. That's Toussaint.
yeah,
That's Durant. That's Satuye. That's Duvalier. I mean, that's them working on our behalf, and we gotta
right,
understand that. But next
right.
week we're gonna talk with Nama Lopez. She's a sister in Honduras that's doing a lot of things. So stay tuned for that. And this week, if we
And
could get a
that's
confirmation,
gonna be on and that's gonna be on and that's gonna be on Sunday, right?
yes, next Sunday. But you said this week we're gonna speak with Baba Clay on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's on Tuesday.
Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
I'm not sure exactly what time is gonna work for him. He's gonna follow up with me tomorrow and
Okay.
let me know.
Okay, sounds great. So, ni doing you we banya logo biama wadume baluma Babakle lo la France lo la dume a won logo la susebe lu furusi ko leaba ya dimaso wadume batuma itu Naima Lopez hulili gatige. So, thank you numutia logo he yago no watida bigibu wadume ba lida logo me biam. Trevor, we
All
to
right.
go your home. Aba iseni.
Luni Sambu